الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى أبائي في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتع فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. فاتحة.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات. اللهم صل. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن فاطمة الزهراء عليها السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال: سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت: دخل علي برسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال: السلام عليك يا فاطمة. فقلت: وعليك السلام. قال: إني أجدني في بدني ضعفا. فقلت له: أعوذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف. فقال: يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به. فأتيت بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلالو كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسن عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت: عليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال: يا أماه إني أشم عندك راية طيبة كأنها راية جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك تحت الكساء. فأقبل الحسن عليه السلام نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جدا يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضك، أذنت لك. فدخل معه تحت الكساء. فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولد الحسين عليه السلام قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أمه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه إني أشم عندك راية طيبة كأنها راية جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك أواخك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين عليه السلام نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء. فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن ويا أمير المؤمنين. فقال يا فاطمة إني أشم عندك راية طيبة كأنها راية أخي وابن عم رسول الله. فقلت نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي عليه السلام نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له عليك السلام يا أخي ويا وصي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء. ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت السلام عليك يا أبتاه يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بضعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء. فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقال اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن عاداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهم عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال الله عز وجل يا ملائكتي ويا سكان سماواتي، إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرض مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلقا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل يا ربي ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة أبوها وبعلها وبنوها. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال جبرائيل يا رب أتأذن لي أن أهبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال السلام عليك يا رسول الله العلي الأعلى، يكرمك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرض مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحرا يجري ولا فلكا يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال لأبي إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. فقال علي لأبي يا رسول الله أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا الله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي ثانيا: يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا، ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا، وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله همه، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غمه، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي عليه السلام: إذا الله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. رحم الله من قرأ الفاتحة.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ويل للمطففين الذين إذا اكتالوا على الناس يستوفون وإذا كالوهم أو وزنوهم يخسرون. ألا يظن أولئك أنهم مبعوثون ليوم عظيم يوم يقوم الناس لرب العالمين. كلا إن كتاب الفجار لفي سجين وما أدراك ما سجين كتاب مرقوم. ويل يومئذ للمكذبين الذين يكذبون بيوم الدين وما يكذب به إلا كل معتد أثيم. إذا تتلى عليه آياتنا قال أساطير الأولين. كلا بل ران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون. كلا إنهم عن ربهم يومئذ لمحجوبون. ثم إنهم لصال الجحيم. ثم يقال هذا الذي كنتم به تكذبون. كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين وما أدراك ما عليون. كتاب مرقوم يشهده المقربون. إن الأبرار لفي نعيم على الأرائك ينظرون تعرف في وجوههم نضرة النعيم. يسقون من رحيق مختوم ختامه مسك وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون. ومزاجه من تسنيم عينا يشرب بها المقربون. إن الذين أجرموا كانوا من الذين آمنوا يضحكون وإذا مروا بهم يتغامزون. وإذا انقلبوا إلى أهلهم انقلبوا فكهين وإذا رأوهم قالوا إن هؤلاء لضالون وما أرسلوا عليهم حافظين فاليوم الذين آمنوا من الكفار يضحكون على الأرائك ينظرون هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات.
صلوات على محمد وآل محمد. عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس سکائے حرم رکھ لیں نہ برم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں سکائے حرم رکھ لیں نہ برم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں تم بھی نہیں ہم کو ٹھکرانا تم بھی نہیں ہم کو ٹھکرانا ہم دنیا کے ٹھکرائے ہیں عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس سکائے حرم رکھ لیں نہ برم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں اب سارے سہارے ٹوٹ چکے ہمیں اپنے پرائے لوٹ چکے اب سارے سہارے ٹوٹ چکے ہمیں اپنے پرائے لوٹ چکے تم اپنی پناہوں میں لے لو تم اپنی پناہوں میں لے لو ہم غم سے بہت گھبرائے ہیں عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس سکائے حرم رکھ لیں نہ برم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں عاشقوں کی زباں پہچانتے ہو جو دل میں ہے وہ جانتے ہو عاشقوں کی زباں پہچانتے ہو جو دل میں ہے وہ جانتے ہو ہم کہہ نہیں سکتے تم سن لو ہم کہہ نہیں سکتے تم سن لو بس ہاتھوں کو پھیلائے ہے عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس سقائے حرم رکھ لینا بھرم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں مولا تم باب ہوائج ہو روزے پہ انہیں بھی بلوا لو مولا تم باب ہوائج ہو روزے پہ انہیں بھی بلوا لو غربت کے سبب جو آ نہ سکے غربت کے سبب جو آ نہ سکے ہم ان کے عریضے لائے ہیں عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس سقائے حرم رکھ لینا بھرم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں کھا کھا کے تماچے روتی ہے زندان کی خاک پہ سوتی ہے کھا کھا کے تماچے روتی ہے زندان کی خاک پہ سوتی ہے بجھ جائے پیاس سکینہ کی بجھ جائے پیاس سکینہ کی ہم آنکھ میں آنسو لائے ہیں عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس سقائے حرم رکھ لینا بھرم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں دربار سخی عباس کا تھا کچھ مانگنا تھا لازم مانگا دربار سخی عباس کا تھا کچھ مانگنا تھا لازم مانگا لیکن یہ حقیقت بھی ہے کمر لیکن یہ حقیقت بھی ہے کمر ہم پرسا دینے آئے ہیں عباس عباس یا بالفضل العباس سقائے حرم رکھ لینا بھرم ہم در پہ تمہارے آئے ہیں صلو علی محمد وآل محمد
Sayyid Shabbir Kirmani, respected elders, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Surah Fatiha is requested for the Isal Sawab or Marhumin listed on the screen and for all Marhumin. Al-Fatiha. Ayyaman Yujibu is requested for the names listed on the screen and for all those in need here and elsewhere. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَمَّا يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 أَمَّا يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. The celebration of the wiladat of our fourth Imam, Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, will be tomorrow on Thursday, March 18th at 8:15 p.m. Sheikh Mujtaba Khaliq will be speaking on how can we achieve everlasting joy in this world. 15th of Sha'ban programs. As we approach the blessed occasion of the birth of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, please join us for a special weekend full of activities for the entire family. Several events are planned beginning on Thursday, March 25th, with an inspirational lecture by Hajj Hussain Rajabali, followed by an interactive Eid session on Friday, March 26th. On Saturday, March 27th, there will be a seniors breakfast and family fun day. The weekend will conclude with a delicious dinner and amal on the 15th night of Sha'ban. We look forward to celebrating with you and your family. Food drive. The Irish team is continuing their initiative of sponsoring food for a local shelter in the month of Sha'ban. The requested donation is $5 per person. However, any amount is welcomed. Donations can be made via PayPal or the website as shown on the screen. Finally, if you or your child is interested in reciting during programs held at the Masjid, please reach out to me at 407-619-2021 for the gents, or Sister Jamila Ghulam Hussain at 407-255-5112 for the ladies, or sign up using the link on the screen. At this time, I'd like to invite Sayyid Shabbir to come recite tonight's majlis with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فوضوا أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ونعم المولى ونعم النصير. والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد الذي سمي في السماء بأحمد وفي الأرض بأبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين المنتجبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل. وقل رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. أما بعد، قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتاب الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى. صدق الله العلي العظيم. زينوا مجالسكم بالصلوات على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. My respected elders, brothers and sisters in Iman, salamun alaykum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Question: who is Abbas alayhi salam? We're told there's a moment in time where Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, he calls on his elder brother Aqil. When he calls on Aqil, he says, and they sit down to have a conversation. When they sit down to have a conversation, this is in the aftermath of the martyrdom of the Lady of Light, Fatima al-Zahra. At that point in time, Amir al-Mu'mineen says to his brother Aqil, Aqil, I want you to find for me a wife so that I may marry. But not just any wife. A wife who will become a support, who will help me give a child to lend support, to lend a hand, a helping hand to my son Hussein for the plains of Karbala. At that point in time, Aqil, who was the brother of Amir al-Mu'mineen, was an expert in genealogy. He was an expert in lineages. He knew which lineage had which strengths and which weaknesses. The idea being coming forth for you and I to understand that Amir al-Mu'mineen is making the arrangements for Karbala during his lifetime. And amongst the arrangements for Karbala, one of the greatest arrangements is the personality of Abu Fadl Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli. This personality, Abbas, has perplexed some of the greatest urafa, some of the greatest mystics, some of the greatest thinkers. Because whenever the aql, we have two elements, aql and ishq. That is our reason and our love. But where the limits of the intellect and the beginning of the love of Abbas begins. You see, Abbas is the one who delivers in the most difficult times. It is not for any ordinary reason that we say, Babul Hawaij Abul Fadl Abbas. The gateway to your needs and your hajat is Abul Fadl Abbas. And we'll see how in the brief moments that we have together. Therefore, tonight, in the very short time that we have together, I want to cover a substantial amount of ground. I want to first look at what is the concept of a flag bearer in Islam, and what is the lineage before Abbas in Islam with respect to flag bearers. Number two, what do we understand with respect to the patience and the knowledge of Abu Fadl Abbas? The sabr and the ilm of Abu Fadl Abbas. What's the connection and the relationship? And how can we understand and better ourselves through that understanding? Number two. Number three, the birth of Abu Fadl Abbas. What were the circumstances surrounding it? And what happened? And what was the lead up to that? Then I want to look at the moments and glimpses of the life of Abu Fadl Abbas. In the Battle of Siffin, for example, where Abbas came forward. Or, for example, leaving towards Karbala. What were those statements that Abu Fadl Abbas made? I then want to come to some of those miracles that have happened with respect to Abu Fadl Abbas. Thousands. We don't have time to get into them. But just a glimpse of a few. And perhaps you and I can get our du'as accepted. And then we'll revive our hearts with the memory of Abu Fadl Abbas so that we can improve and increase our iman, inshallah. This is our agenda for the evening. Wherever you are here in Florida, or wherever you are hearing my voice, from the bottom of your heart, wherever the love of Abbas is, send a salawat on Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. At the first level, when we look at the concept of a flag bearer, the alam, the concept of this respected alam has a strong presence within Islamic history. That is, there was an alam, a flag, and at every moment, wherever there was a flag, there was someone to bear that flag. That flag bearer is the one who holds the strength. And how appropriate it is that last night we were discussing Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. And tonight we are discussing his flag bearer, Abu Fadl Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen. Aankhon mein jagta hai sada gham Hussein ka, the poet says. Aankhon mein jagta hai sada gham Hussein ka, seene mein saans leta hai matam Hussein ka. आंखों में जागता है सदा गम हुसैन का, सीने में सांस लेता है मातम हुसैन का, और मिट्टी में मिल गए हैं इरादे यजीद के, लहरा रहा है आज भी परचम हुसैन का, लहरा रहा है आज भी परचम हुसैन का. That whatever Yazid wanted, that went to the dust. But till this day, the alam, the flag, the parcham of Sayyidul Shuhada is flying high. And wherever there comes the discussion of the flag of Sayyid al-Shuhada, there will be the discussion of Abu Fadl Abbas, the flag bearer. So who are some of the flag bearers? In the history of Islam, you will find the names of, for example, Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib. You will find for the likes of Ali ibn Abi Talib. You will find the likes of Ja'far ibn Abi Talib. These are people who in the direst moments raised the flag of Islam. For example, there's a moment in time, Ali ibn Abi Talib, the father of Abu Fadl Abbas, a supporter of Islam from the earliest moment. Hamza, a supporter of Islam. Ja'far, at-Tayyar, a supporter of Islam. We're told there's a moment in time where the young children, they used to flick stones at Rasulullah in Mecca. When they used to throw stones and pelt Rasulullah with stones, It was a matter, the Quraysh, the Sardars of the Quraysh, they told the children to throw stones. When they threw stones, Rasulullah would get pelted with stones. He's doing his tabligh. At that point in time, Abu Talib, the father of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Talib says, "What happened, my dear nephew? What happened to you?" He said, "The children, they pelted me with stones." Abu Talib goes to the rulers of Quraysh and he says, "Listen, your children have pelted stones on my nephew Muhammad, tell them to stop it." They looked back in a state of arrogance and they said, "It's a children's matter, let the children handle it." Abu Talib said, "Very well. If you want to look at the iman of Abu Talib, look at the actions of Abu Talib. Look at the poetry of Abu Talib. Everything that Abu Talib did shows that he was on iman. What more proof do you want?" Nonetheless, at that point in time, he said, "Very well. You want to do this? Very well." Abu Talib said, "Ali, come here. Ali, from now on, I want you to go with Muhammad wherever he goes." Ali's young. He says, "Wherever Muhammad goes, you go with him." At that point in time, the next day, Ali ibn Abi Talib went with him. The children pelted the stones on Rasulullah the same way. But this time, when they pelted the stone, Ali stopped the stones. And when Ali stopped the stones, he grabbed one child's ankle. Ali is the child himself, Badahir, apparently. So Ali grabbed one's wrist, he twisted it. Another one, he twisted it. Another's ankle, he twisted. All of those children went back to their Quraysh fathers and said that today was a different situation. They said, "Why are you crying? What's going on?" He said, "Today Muhammad came with Ali." So Ali's a young boy. He said, "Ali twisted one's ankle and Ali twisted one's wrist. That's why we're crying." At that point in time, the Sardars and the rulers of Quraysh, the people who were ruling, they said, "Call on Abu Talib." They went towards Abu Talib. They said, "Abu Talib, what did your son Ali do to our children?" He said, "What happened?" He said, "They said that they were flicking stones at Muhammad, and today Ali stopped them, and Ali twisted someone's ankle and Ali twisted someone's wrist. Tell your child, tell Ali to control himself and not do this." Abu Talib said, "It's a children's matter, let the children handle it." At that point in time, at every moment Ali is defending, and every moment Abu Talib is defending at the first level. The second level, there's a moment in time where Hamza, the uncle of Rasulullah, he would have a tradition, every day he would go up in the morning, wake up. This is in the early days of Islam. He gets up, he goes to the Kaaba, and then he goes for his hunting. When he goes for hunting, he would come back. Hamza was a very known and renowned warrior. One day, Hamza's returning after going to the Kaaba and going for his hunting, he comes back. When he comes back, on the way back, there is a lady from a tribe of Mecca. She says, "Oh Hamza, will you not support your nephew or put him out of his misery?" He said, "What do you mean?" "Either support your nephew Muhammad who is propagating Islam, or put an end to his misery. He has been humiliated by Abu Jahl today." Abu Jahl insulted him and humiliated him the worst way. At that point in time, when Hamza heard this, he went and he asked, "Where is Abu Jahl?" When he found out about where he saw that he was in a tent. When he was in a tent, he was gathered with a few people around him. When he was gathered with a few people around him, according to the narration, Hamza went into that gathering and he took his bow of his arrow. He took the bow and he took the back edge of it and it struck Abu Jahl on his head. When he struck Abu Jahl on his head, he began to bleed. When he began to bleed at that point, he said, "What did you do, Hamza?" Hamza was a warrior, nobody could touch Hamza. So he did this. He says, "You insult my nephew, whereas you don't know that I'm on his faith?" As soon as Hamza said this, he stood back. As soon as Hamza was on the side of Rasulullah, the Quraysh stepped back. The same way Abu Talib was the protector of Rasulullah, Hamza was also a protector, a flag bearer of Islam in the early days. Who else? Ja'far al-Tayyar, the first individual before Abu Abbas whose hands were severed in the battle of Mu'tah. And Allah's messenger said that he flies in the heavens with wings. That Allah has replaced the hands of Ja'far with the wings that fly in the heavens. These are all people who put their life on the line for Islam. But I want to come to Abu Abbas and his fadail and his merits. You see, many times when we discuss Abu Abbas, when we discuss Babul Hawaij, we say he's someone who, for example, had patience, he had loyalty. But one thing that we don't discuss, which we should perhaps discuss more, is the knowledge of Abu Abbas. Because, and I beg your attention here, the prerequisite of sabr, of patience, is knowledge. The precursor, the prerequisite to sabr is knowledge. Before you get to a maqam of patience, before you get to a maqam of control, you must have knowledge. Allow me to explain. For example, in our modern world, there's a lot of focus on mindfulness, for example, good practices, and control, and thinking and reflecting. What state am I in? Am I angry? Am I stressed out? Am I conscious? Do I have the sha'ur of the state in which I am? You know, some people, they go on anger tirades on people. They don't even realize that they make their own life a living hell and other people around them a living hell. Mindfulness, consciousness is all good. But I want to explain, how do you know and how do I know that before sabr you need knowledge? The example is there clearly in the Quran al-Majid wal-Furqan al-Hamid, Musa and Khizr. What happened? Khizr had knowledge. Musa also had knowledge. But Musa's knowledge and Khizr's knowledge, there was a difference. Khizr's knowledge was at a higher level, because Allah told Musa, although he's an Ulul Azm prophet, He said, "O Musa, go and find someone who has more knowledge than you." Allah said to the prophet Moses, to go and find someone. He found Khizr. When he finds Khizr, Khizr has knowledge. Musa has knowledge also, but Khizr's at a higher level. But every time there was a moment, whether it was a wall that they had to fix, whether it was a hole that they drilled in the boat, or whatever happened, at every single time, or whether it was a youth that they killed, every time this happened, there was an objection that was raised by Musa. Musa said, "How did you kill this youth? How did you fix this wall? Although these people didn't take care of us. How did you drill a hole in a perfectly fine boat?" Every time he says, "You don't have the patience. Didn't I tell you you won't have the patience? Don't ask me why I'm doing what I'm doing." And at the end he explains everything. That tells us that before someone has sabr, before someone has patience, they must have the knowledge to know what state and environment they're in. When we understand this, then we begin to understand the knowledge of Abu Fadl Abbas. Because in the state where he had the control and the ability to conquer the entire army on the other side, he controlled himself. That's Abbas. Assalamu alayka ya Abdus Salih, al-muti'u lillahi wa li rasulih, wa li amir al-mu'mineen. Allahu Akbar. What do we say in the ziyarah of Abu Fadl Abbas? If your name is Abbas or you're named after Abbas, think about what personality you're named after. Think about what entity you're named after. Think about what individual you are named after. Abbas, the one who the Ahlul Bayt look to for peace of mind and tranquility in their hearts. Allahu Akbar. There's a moment in time we're told that Aqil and Amir al-Mu'minin have the conversation. Aqil says, "I'm on the task." When he says, "I'm on the task," he gets to work. There were 4 tribes that were well known around Mecca. There was, for example, Banu Hashim, the clan of Rasulullah. Banu Hashim was known very well for their piety and taqwa and sincerity. They had the best akhlaq. It was well known. There was another tribe, for example, known as Banu Umayyah. The Umayyads were well known for one thing, and that was to play politics, oftentimes dirty politics. It was well known. They were very good politicians. There was a third level, Banu Saktif. You will remember, Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. If you can please stay with me, inshallah. There was a third tribe. It was called Banu Sakif. You know, Urwa bin Mas'ud al-Saqafi, Layla, the mother of Ali Akbar, was from that tribe, Saqaf. Saqafi tribe was well known for its beauty. They were the most beautiful tribe, according to their traditions. And then there was another tribe, Kilabiyya. That is the Banu Kilab. Banu Kilab was the tribe of Ummul Banin, Fatima bint al-Hizam al-Kilabiyya. In these 4 tribes, it came forward that this tribe of Kilab was the most brave. They had the highest bravery amongst all of the Arabs. When this was known to Aqil, he said very well, in that tribe, who is the leader? Hizam. Hizam al-Kilabiyya. Hizam was the person who was the tribesman. He said, Aqil said, "I will go and take the rishta, as we would call it, the proposal to him." At that point in time, he gets to the house of Hizam, of the tribe of Banu Kilab. Banu Kilab was not a big tribe, It was a small tribe compared to the others, but very brave. He got there, "Salamu alaykum wa alaykum as-salam." He said, for 3 days he stayed in their house. The tradition amongst the Arabs was, for 3 days, when a guest comes to you, you don't ask them any questions. So for 3 days he was their guest. On the 3rd day, a conversation ensued. On the 3rd day, when the conversation ensued, Hizam says, "How can I assist you? How can I help you? You are the son of who? Son of Abu Talib." Abu Talib, the one who assisted Rasulullah, very good. He said, "What's the matter?" He said, "I brought a proposal." He said, "Which proposal? For who?" He said, "I've brought a proposal from Ali ibn Abi Talib, my brother, for your daughter." He said, "Ali ibn Abi Talib? Ali ibn Abi Talib? Are you serious? Ali ibn Abi Talib, the son-in-law of Rasulullah, will become my son-in-law? Is that what you're offering?" He said, "Yes." He says, "The matter is Ali al-Murtaza has said that he wants a child to help and support his son Hussein." on the battle in the plains of Karbala. And all of these things, he wants the most brave. He says he wants someone from the bravest family. And we have found that you are the tribesmen of Banu Kilab, which is the bravest of tribes. At that point in time, he says, I could not be more joyous. But of course, as you know, you have to ask the daughter. At that point in time, when he came and he in front of his daughter, the mother was there also. At that point in time, he said that there is a proposal that has come. Who is the proposal from? The proposal is from an individual by the name of Ali ibn Abi Talib. The Prophet's son-in-law, Ali ibn Abi Talib? He said, yes. He said, the same one? He said, yes. The one who's Fateh, Badr, Uhud, Khandaq, Khaybar, Hunayn, Ali, that Ali? He said, yes, that Ali. He said, the mother said, take it right away. What is the delay? At that point in time, Fatima al-Baneen, Fatima bint al-Hizam al-Kilabiyya, she said, I saw a dream last night I'd like to explain, which helps in this dynamic. He said, what's the dream? He said, I saw a situation where I was in a garden. And when I was in this garden, I saw a situation where a piece of the moon had fallen into my lap. A few stars and a piece of the moon had fallen into my lap. And at that point in time, I didn't know what was going on. But now, based on this, I think I understand what's going on. Because if you recall, Abbas is the one who was given the title Qamaru Bani Hashim, the moon of Banu Hashim. Allahu Akbar. Banu Hashim's moon. Moon being a symbol. Moon being an analogy. For what? For beauty. A tribe in which there are the likes of Ali al-Murtaza. A tribe in which there is the likes of Rasulullah. A tribe in which there is the likes of Hassan. A tribe in which there is the likes of Hussein. A tribe in which there is Ali Akbar. A tribe in which every individual is the moon. I mentioned last night that Hussein comes from beauty. Hassan comes from the same. These root words that are entrenched in that. Everyone is a moon. In that family, Qamaru Bani Hashim is Abu Abbas. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. This is the position and the maqam of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas in this household, in this place, in this environment. Abbas is there at every moment. Abbas is assisting at every moment. We're told there's a moment in time to understand the fadila. After Karbala, the fourth Imam, Imam Sajjad, he's in a gathering. Imam Sajjad, as you know, he had dedicated his life to uniting the mu'mineen after Karbala because there were movements going this way and that way. So Imam was uniting them. He united them through what? Through the Majlis of Abu Abdullah, through the Masaib, through the Gham Bayan of Sayyid al-Shuhada. He united them through the du'as of Sahifa Sajjadiyya. He did all of this. During this, when he was teaching some of his nearest companions, such as who? Such as Abu Hamza al-Thamali. You remember? Dua Abu Hamza al-Thamali? He's sitting in a gathering with Abu Hamza al-Thamali. When he's sitting in a gathering with Abu Hamza al-Thamali, the fourth Imam, a child comes into the gathering. When the child comes into the gathering, the fourth Imam stands up. When he stands up, Abu Hamza looks, he says, who is the Imam standing for a child? And I don't know this child. At that point in time, he sat the child down. Imam sat down himself. Abu Hamza says, O Imam Sajjad, who is this child that I see you, the Imam of my time, standing up for? He says, this is the son of my uncle Abbas. How can I not stand for him? Abbas, who supported us in every moment in time. Imam Sajjad is standing up for the son of Abbas. Further than this, we're told there's a moment in time during the time of Imam al-Askari and right before Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Bibi Narjis, the mother of Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Imam Askari is in his final moments. When he's in his final moments, Bibi Narjis, the wife of Imam Askari, the mother of Imam Sahib al-Zaman, she says, oh, my husband, you are going to leave us in a few moments. And I have this young child who's about 5 years of age, Imam Sahib al-Zaman. Who is there to assist us in this moment? According to the riwayat, Imam Askari said at that point in time, in this city of Samarra, in this neighborhood, in this house, is an individual who is from the descendants of my uncle Abbas. He will defend the Imam. At every moment, not only is Abbas defending, but the Abbas's lineage is also defending. Abbas is someone is too exalted, too high. Further than this, to understand the maqam, to understand the position of Abbas, there's a riwayah from our sixth Imam, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The sixth Imam says that I narrate from my father, who narrates from his father, who narrates all the way up to Rasulullah, that there was a moment in time that my grandfather Rasulullah had a conversation with his daughter Fatima al-Zahra. Allahu Akbar. Sixth Imam. Going back to Rasulullah. My grandfather Rasulullah said that he was having a conversation with the Lady of Light, his daughter Fatima az-Zahra. Oh Fatima, what will you have for the shifa'ah of my ummah on Yawm al-Qiyamah? Allahu Akbar. Do you know what Fatima az-Zahra said? My father, why do you worry? I will bring the two hands of my son Abbas on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allahu Akbar. For shifa'ah for the whole ummah, Abu Fadl al-Abbas's hands. And Abbas is not ordinary. Abbas is extraordinary. There's a moment in time, Abbas is 13 years old. What happened at the age of 13 when Abbas is 13? Abbas, before even this, Abbas, when he is born, there's a moment in time, according to the narrations, when Abbas is born, he comes into the hands of Ali ibn Abi Talib. His eyes have not opened. Remember, the same way that Ali al-Murtaza's eyes did not open until he saw Rasulullah. At that point in time, his eyes, Abbas's eyes did not open. Until what moment? Until that moment came where he came to someone. Who did he come to? What was the precursor to this? What happened before this was, at that point in time, when Abbas was born, each child would look at him, they would smile. Remember, there's a big age gap, about 25 years between Imam Hussein and Abu Fadl Abbas. It's a substantial age gap. At that point in time when Abbas is born, he doesn't open his eyes. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen sees this. Baneen also sees this. She says, my husband, I'm concerned. My son has not opened his eyes. Your son has not opened his eyes. He said, worry not. Why do you worry? What are you afraid of? At that point in time, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, according to the riwayah, he called on Imam Hussein. When he called on Imam Hussein took Abbas in his hands. And when he took Abbas in his hands for the first time, the child opened his eyes. This is why Abu Fadl Abbas said, on the last moments, he says, my Aqa, my Mawla, the first sight that I saw in my life was your face. And the last vision that I wish to see is your face. And he said that I wish that I can see your face. And he says, Abbas, then look at me in the final moments. He says, Mawla, I have blood in my eyes. There's an arrow. And I would remove the arrow, I would remove the blood, but I can't, my hands are gone. I wouldn't even ask you for that. That was the moment of Abbas. That's Abbas. Nonetheless, 13 years old, Battle of Siffin. Siffin was that battle between a civil war, between Muslims on both sides. Siffin was that battle. There was a moment in time that I would like to explain to our respective youth. There's a moment in time where Amir al-Mu'min tells one of his other sons, Muhammad Hanafiya. He says, Muhammad Hanafiya, advance towards the enemy. The narration says that Muhammad Hanafiya was a little reluctant, a little hesitant. When he was a little hesitant, he noticed a gust of wind blow past him. When he noticed a gust of wind blow past him, he looked back and looked forward. He noticed that Imam Hassan had run towards the other way. Amir al-Mu'mineen said a line at that line, which I used to wonder about, and many people used to wonder about. What is the line? The line was, this is the difference between the sons of Fatima az-Zahra and others. Why did he say this? How can you say this in front of someone? Even if it's true, no doubt, but it's someone's mother. Muhammad Hanafiya has his own mother. Then in the riwayat, I understood that Amir al-Mu'mineen would never treat Imam Hassan and Hussein like his own sons in battle. He used to treat them like the amana of Rasulullah. Because they were the sons of Rasulullah according to the narrations. So Muhammad Hanafiya and Abu Fadl Abbas, he would move them forward. Abbas in the battle of Siffin, Abbas is that individual who looked more like Ali ibn Abi Talib than anyone else. If Ali Akbar was Shabbir of Rasulullah and looked exactly like Rasulullah, according to the narrations, Abbas looked exactly like Ali ibn Abi Talib. At that point in time, Abbas came into the battle of Siffin with a covering on his face, a veil on his face. And when he was fighting the enemy at the age of 13, the enemy said, where did Ali come from? We didn't know Ali had come into the battlefield. Because Abbas extinguished the enemy left, right and center in the battle. When this happened at that point in time, when Abbas was finished obliterating the army, according to the narration, then when they said it's Ali, Abbas removed the veil. Imam Ali removed the veil from Abbas, and they said, who is this? They said, هَذَا قَمَرُ Bani Hashim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa alim. This is the moon of Banu Hashim, Abbas. At another level, we notice that moment in time where Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is leaving from Medina towards Mecca for the Hajj, for the final time, before Karbala. At that point in time, when they have made the decision, when Imam Hussein has made the decision to go towards Karbala, first to Mecca for Hajj, and when he turned his niyyah away, when he saw that they were going to shed his blood even in Mecca, the holy sanctuary, he moved it to Umrah and then he went towards Karbala, as you know. At that point in time, what happened? When Abu Abdullah makes the decision, they go towards Hajj. When they go towards Hajj, there's a momentous moment. What is that momentous moment? At that point in time, Imam al-Hussein notices that there are enemies there with swords who are ready to kill him in the sanctuary of the Kaaba. That's why the Imam Hussein said, if I was even a fly, even if I was a mosquito, they would not stop from shedding my blood. Why? Because in a state of ihram, you're not even supposed to kill an insect of that level. He was saying that they don't even have the sanctity of ihram. I must leave and protect the sanctity of the Kaaba. At that point in time, Imam al-Hussein in the vicinity of the Kaaba, he says, "Oh Abbas, I want you to get on the roof of the Kaaba and give a khutbah. Give a sermon on the roof of the Kaaba." History has said, as far as Rasulullah is concerned, and Islam is concerned, 3 people got on the roof of the Kaaba. 3 people. The first, Bilal. Bilal was on the roof of the Kaaba. Why? To recite the azan. Rasulullah said, "Bilal, you are the muazzin to recite the azan. Get on the roof of the Kaaba." After when? Fath Makkah. When the conquest of Mecca happened, Rasulullah said, "Bilal, get on the roof." Not a single drop of blood shed. This is right towards the end of the life of Rasulullah. He says, "Bilal, get on the roof of the Kaaba." This Kaaba that had idolaters, Rasulullah says, "Bilal, get on the roof." Bilal gets on the roof. But then a question emerges. He says, "Ya Rasulullah, where should I face? Because the Qibla is the Kaaba. I'm on top of the Kaaba. Where do I face?" He says, "Face me. Face towards me." A lesson and a message for all of the Muslims. You are thinking the Kaaba is just a box structure. It has its sacredness, it has its honor, it has its prestige. But what about Rasulullah? What about the Al of Rasulullah? At that point in time, he says, "Face towards me," and Bilal gives the azan. The next level is who? Ali ibn Abi Talib himself, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, on the request of Rasulullah, he gets on the roof of the Kaaba. Who else? The third person is Abu Abbas at the request of Imam al-Hussein. Abbas gets on the roof of the Kaaba, and at that point in time, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is seated in the vicinity of the Kaaba. And he says, "Abbas, tell them." At that point in time, Abbas, he gets on the roof of the Kaaba. When he gets on the roof of the Kaaba, and then he points. He's standing on the roof of the Kaaba. The people are looking at him. Now look at the address of Abbas. He says, "Alhamdulillah alladhi sharrafa hada." Alhamd, blessings and honor and all praise is due to the one who gave sharaf to this house. This house referring to the Kaaba. He's pointing down to the Kaaba. Alhamdulillah alladhi sharrafa hada biqudumi abi. He points towards Imam al-Hussein. He says, all praise is to the one who gave grace to this house. Through what? Through the feet of his father, referring to Imam al-Hussein. Allahu Akbar. Referring to Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now I ask Abu Abbas, "Oh Abbas, you could have said, by my father, because you have the same father. No one could blame you. His father is Ali, your father is also Ali." But look at the ma'rifah of Abu Abbas. Look at the understanding of Abu Abbas. Look at the knowledge. Look at the sabr of Abu Abbas. At every moment and every time, Abbas is saying, that is the Imam and I am the one who is mutiyan to the Imam. I do the ita'at of the Imam. I follow the Imam. And then he continues and he says, "Ayyuhal kafaratul fajara." Allahu Akbar. Abbas looks at the people who are in ihram doing Hajj and he says, "Oh kafirs, oh fajirs." Abbas, they're doing Hajj, you're calling them? He says, he's giving a lesson. The ulama comment on this. Why would Abbas use such language? He's saying the people are missing the forest for the trees. Your Imam is being forced away from the Kaaba to go towards Karbala and you are just doing ihram? Number one. Number two, those people who are in the vicinity of the Kaaba, they had knives and daggers to kill Imam al-Hussein. What ibadah will be accepted from them? What worship will be accepted from them? You're trying to kill the grandson of Rasulullah? You're trying to kill the one who Rasulullah would keep on his own shoulders? You're trying to kill the one who Rasulullah extended his salah for? And you're expecting that your salah and your worship will be accepted? Do you know what they were saying in Karbala? They were saying, "Kill Hussein quickly so we can go pray, our salah is getting qadha." Allahu Akbar. Do you understand? Do you understand what is Islam? Do you understand what is fiqh? Do you understand? So Abbas is telling them, "Oh kafirs, oh fajirs, what are you? Listen to me. He said that Allah cleansed this house by the feet of Ali ibn Abi Talib, by the feet of his father, Imam al-Husayn's father, Ali ibn Abi Talib. And then he continues and he gives a long khutbah, but he says one line. He says, if it were not the plan of Allah, and if it were not this dynamics of zaman and makan, and the dynamics of cause and effect, this Kaaba itself would go towards the feet of Husayn ibn Ali. The Kaaba knows the position of Husayn ibn Ali. Who do you think you are talking to, and who do you think you are dealing with? And Abbas gives this lengthy sermon, which the ulama have also looked for fasahat and balaghat. Nonetheless, Abbas is too high. I tell you, with the sincerity of heart, wherever you are, in the most difficult times, if you do the following, for my youth especially, you know the Fatih of Baneen. I've told you this many times, and you may have heard from others as well. In the most dire circumstance, I've heard from youth in the UK, you know, particularly when you hear amal or du'as or these things, typically it's the elders who say this, because they've experienced it. But when you see young people, 30, 40 years old or younger, saying, do this amal, it will help you, it's surprising, especially for people in my generation who are born and raised here. You don't see this connection. I was shocked when I went to the UK. People were saying, Fatih of Baneen. Most dire circumstance. What do? You dedicate one sawab of one Fatiha for the mother of Abu Fadl Abbas. You see, Abu Fadl Abbas is Babul Hawaij. But the heaven lies under the feet of Baneen for Abbas even. At that point in time, that will help you in the most difficult times. There's another thing that can help you in the most difficult of times. What is that? Ya kashif al-karbi an wajhil Husayn. Ikshif karbi bihaqqi akhiq al-Husayn. 133 times recite this. 133, why? Because if you add the numbers of the name Abbas, Ain, Bay, Alif, Sin, if you add these together, it becomes 133. You know how you say, Ya Ali 110, for example, or 786, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim? There's a science of numerology within Islam. I don't have the time to get into that. But if you add that together, you get 133 for Abbas. In the most difficult, in the most dire circumstances, will help you. How? Ayatullah Fadil Lankarani, one of our great scholars who existed in the 20th and 21st century. Ayatullah Fadil Lankarani has listed this as officially, in an official capacity. One of his representatives was giving a lecture. When his representative was giving a lecture in Europe, there was an engineer, a PhD scientist who was in the gathering, follower of Ahlul Bayt. His representative said this, recite this 133 times. Ya kashif al-karbi an wajh al-Husayn. Ikshif karbi bihaqqi akhiq al-Husayn. O the one who removes this distress from the face of Husayn, help me and assist me for the sake of the brother of Husayn, Abu Fadl Abbas. He said he had polio from a young age. This is 10, 20 years ago. This is not very old. This is in this century. He heard this in the lecture. He had been diagnosed with polio from a young age. He couldn't move his feet. He said, really? In your most difficult time, recite this? He said, very well. At that point in time, he went home, did the niyyah in Paris. He's tried to get treatment and everything from every place on earth. At that point in time, 133 times, with intent, with niyyah, with ikhlas, he did this. When he did this, according to the narration, according to the story, he became cured. Abbas makes the impossible possible. Don't ask me how. I'm someone who studied engineering, I'm still studying engineering. Ahlul Bayt baffle the mind. There's a level in the maqam of Ahlul Bayt you can't comprehend. I mentioned some of it last night. The impossible becomes possible through Ahlul Bayt. But here's what happened after that. His wife was Christian, his wife was not Muslim. At that point in time, she said, what happened? We're scientists, we've dedicated our whole life to science. And you're someone, we're living in Paris. And you have been cured of the incurable? How? I don't get it. He said, this is Abbas, you can't explain. It doesn't make sense. Logic is baffled. She said she wanted to find out, she became Muslim. By this experience. Ayatollah Fadil Lakarani listed this on his official website. This is in the last few years, not very long ago. Abbas is the one who makes the impossible possible. We're told there's a moment in time, thousands of narrations, I'm sharing one or two with you. A qafila from Africa goes towards ziyarat. When they go towards ziyarah, towards Karbala and Najaf, when they get towards Najaf, they get to the checkpoint of Najaf. When they get to the checkpoint of Najaf, this family, it's a husband and wife and their parents, and they have a child with them, this family. The child is 7 years old, he's sitting in the back. When they get to the checkpoint, the mother takes her documents out, the father takes the documents out. They said, listen, you, the parents, come out of the car, we'll check your documents, the child can stay sleeping in the car. They checked the documents, they came back, everything was fine. They went towards Najaf. When they got to Najaf, the child that they thought was sleeping in the back seat, they found that he wasn't breathing. When they found that that child was not breathing, they took him to the hospital immediately. When they took him to the hospital, this is post-Saddam era, huh? Last 20 years, 15 years. They took him to the hospital. When they took him to the hospital at that point in time, they said, no pulse, this child has expired, he's died. It was distressful for the father, for the mother. You know, the mother and the connection the mother has with the child, it's unbearable. They all said, what happened? We came to the land of Ahlul Bayt, we came to the land of Ali, we came to the land of Abbas, we came to the land of Hussein, and this happened? They all said, okay, it's the rida of Allah, it's the will of Allah, then we'll be patient. But it's still difficult. The mother took it the hardest, of course, she's a mother. They got to Najaf, they went to the Zari and the shrine, the grandparents and the husband. They said, you come with us as well. They said to the mother, you come with us as well. He said, no, I'm not coming. He said, what? He said, no, I'm not coming. I came with my son to these personalities. And I came here and I lost my children, I lost my son. I don't go. He said, please, please. They said, no. They went for the ziyarah. They went to Najaf, they did the ziyarah of Amir al-Mu'mineen. 1 day, 2 days, she didn't go. Then came the time to go towards Karbala. The kafila, the caravan, the Qarawan, they went towards Karbala. When they got to Karbala, they said again, oh daughter, go, come and meet Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Meet Abu Abbas. Says, no, I don't want to go. I came with my son, I've lost my son. What else do I want? That is everything I had in my life. They said, he's the one, they gave it to you, they'll give you another son. Don't worry, be patient, at least go for the ziyarah. Don't be disrespectful. He said, no. The final day of ziyarah in Karbala, final day. They said, please, just at least say your salams. Say your salams as a sign of respect and then go back. And inshallah, Allah will take care of the rest. He said, I still don't feel it. They insisted, she finally accepted, she went to the shrine of Abbas. A mother who has just lost her child falls on the zari of Abu Abbas. She begins to cry. She says, Abbas, I came with my son to show him you, and to show him your father, and to show him your brother. And you take my son away from me? She was crying when at that moment, the people who were there around the sahan saw a 7-year-old child crying and coming towards the dhari. A mother's instinct, she turned around instantly, she saw her son. When she saw her son, you know, when you have stress and distress and you have an immense tragedy, sometimes you begin to see things because sometimes you become delirious. She said, is she delirious? Pinch me, someone. Is that really my son? Other people saw the son as well. They said, the grandparents, the husband, what's going on here? We thought we lost you. We checked your pulse. We buried you in Wadi Salam. He said, my child, where were you? He said, last thing I remember, I had fallen unconscious in the back of the car. The next thing I knew, I was in a crowd. When I was in this crowd, I was looking for you, my mother, and I was looking for my family. I didn't find you. When I didn't find you, I began to cry and I began to wail. When I began to cry and wail, there was no one. I was in a crowd, but no one was coming to assist me. When no one was coming to assist me, I saw one man, actually 2 individuals on a horseback coming towards my direction. When these 2 individuals came, one youth and one individual who had a nur and a light from his face that I had never seen before. They said, oh child, come with us. At that point in time, the young boy, the 7-year-old says, I told the uncle, he's saying in his own language, he doesn't know. He says, I told the uncle, can you please give me your hand so that I can hold your hand and get on top of the horse and go with you? He says, my child, I don't have any hands. The other one who was with him helped me get on the horse. And he took me straight to the sahan and the dhari where I just came to you running. He dropped me off here and he allowed me to come towards you. But he said one thing before he let me go. So what did he say? My child, the mother said. He said, oh my child, tell your mother one thing. Tell her not to get upset at us, because it breaks our heart. And tell her that we are always there for her. And he let me go. At that point in time, I've come back to you. They went back to Wadi Salam. Wadi Salam, where they had buried the child and put him in the kafan, and they had buried him. This is one of the waqiyat that is well known in Wadi Salam. They went and checked the body, they dug up the body, they found the kafan was there, the body was not there. Abbas defies logic. We can't understand. All I tell you is develop a connection to that entity, and through that you will get success in your life. There's another moment very quickly. There's another moment in time. A poet wrote a kalam in honor of Abu Talib Abbas. In the first line of that kalam, it was in Arabic, he felt that maybe he's done disrespect of Imam Hussein by raising Abbas too high. What did he say? He said that on the day of Ashura, Abbas was the shield of the Ahlul Bayt. That even Imam Hussein was under the shield of Abbas. He says, I've raised Abbas's status, but have I lowered the status of Imam al-Hussein? He says, that night I decided not to recite that manqabat, that qasida. When this happened, he says, a moment in time emerged at that point. He says that night I fell asleep. When I fell asleep, in my dream I see a situation where I am in the haram of Sayyid al-Shuhada, Imam al-Hussein. When I'm in the zari and the sahan, in the shrine of Sayyid al-Shuhada, there's nobody there, it's empty. It's Thursday night, Shab Jummah. Nobody's in the shrine of Imam al-Hussein. You would think it's packed. In my dream, nobody. No one in the sahan, no one in the zari, empty. I ask, where is it? Where's everyone? There's one person who's working. He says, they're all in the shrine of Abbas. He turns around, he goes to the shrine of Abu Talib Abbas. When he goes to the shrine of Abu Talib Abbas, it's packed. No space, no room. But in that environment, he gets to the zari somehow. He says, when he gets to the zari, what does he see? The poet says, he says, I see Imam al-Hussein right at the zari of Abbas, Abu Talib Abbas. You know, in Iraq, they call Abu Talib Abbas Imam Abbas, right? He's there at the shrine of Abu Talib Abbas. And he says, the poet says, I heard the Imam reciting what? He was reciting my poem, my qasida, my manqabat in honor of Abu Talib Abbas. And then he notices, Imam Hussein notices me behind him. When he notices me behind him at that point in time, he says, O poet, O shair, why do you not recite my brother's qasida? Why do you not recite his kalam? Why do you not recite his poem? He says, Yabna Rasulillah, I didn't want to disrespect you. I didn't want to lower your prestige. I thought that I was raising Abbas so high that I was demoting you. He says, no, this is a qasida that I recite myself. Allahu Akbar. The Ahlul Bayt are those individuals who give amnesty and safety and sanctuary to all of the people. And Abbas is the one who gives sanctuary to the Ahlul Bayt. Allahu Akbar. My time is complete. Inshallah, everything else for another time. The poet says, Chunli khayal ne jo azal mein Ali ki ayn. Remember I said 133 times, Ya kashif al-karbi an wajh al-Husayn. Ikshif karbi bihaqqi akhiq al-Husayn. Abbas is spelled how? Ain, Be, Alif, Sin, Abbas. Chunli khayal ne jo azal mein Ali ki ayn. Be bizat-e Rasul ki ismat ka zayb o zayn. Alhamd ke alif ka sarapa dilon ka chain. वन्नास की ये सीन ये नुत्क़े दिले हुसैन हर हर्फ कायनात का अक्कास बन गया हर हर्फ कायनात का अक्कास बन गया देखा जो गौर करके तो अब्बास बन गया हर हर्फ कायनात का अक्कास बन गया देखा जो गौर करके तो अब्बास बन गया every letter it became a shadow or a reflection of the kainat but when I looked closely it became Abbas. Another thing that as a tabarruk I want to share with you. If you are expecting a child, according to riwayat, it's found in riwayat. If you intend to name your child Abbas, or for example Ali, or Hassan, or Hussein, but in particular Abbas, do this with this niyyah, put your hand on the womb for the mother, and say Ya Jamilu 70 times. Ya Jamilu 70 times, and say I will name the child Abbas, or Hassan, or Hussein, but the riwayat is Abbas in particular. Why? Jamilu means beauty. That child will have a reflection of the beauty of Abu Talib Abbas, according to the riwayah. It's a tabarruk for today, inshallah. Abbas is someone who's too high. Abbas's position is too high. Shikaste aap ka itihas likh diya jaye. Itihas means history. Shikaste aap ka itihas likh diya jaye. Ki har warak pe faqad pyas likh diya jaye. शिकस्ते आपका इतिहास लिख दिया जाए कि हर वरक पर फकत प्यास लिख दिया जाए और सरे गुरूर उठाने लगी हैं फिर मौजें चलो फुरात पे अब्बास लिख दिया जाए चलो फुरात पे अब्बास लिख दिया जाए. The poet says the history of thirst should be written, and on every page it should be written that the darya, that is the Ravani, the river, lost. Why? On every page write Abbas, Abbas, Abbas. Why? Because he went to the river and he lifted the water And he says, Ya nafs min ba'dil Husayn huni. And he throws the water back towards the river. Oh nafs, what water will you drink when your master, Sayyid al-Shuhada, is thirsty? The thirst lost. Abbas won. Allahu Akbar. Sakhi Hussain ke Abbas ka hai ye roza. For all of you who have hajat tonight, this I'm giving to you, inshallah. Sakhi Hussain ke Abbas ka hai ye roza. Akhri wala, last one, inshallah. Oh, good. Sakhi Hussain ke Abbas ka hai ye roza. Darakht मांगने आते हैं इस जगह साया. दरख्त मांगने आते हैं इस जगह साया. यहीं चमकता है आकर हर एक आईना. दयारे बाबुल हवाइज है फैज का चश्मा. और बड़े बड़ों का मुकद्दर संवरते देखा है. बड़े बड़ों का मुकद्दर संवरते देखा है. और समंदरों को यहां मश्क भरते देखा है. बड़े बड़ों का मुकद्दर संवरते देखा है. समंदरों को यहां मश्क भरते देखा है. The poet says that I have seen the biggest people who are those people who are the samandars, the seas. They have had their destiny locked and loaded through Abu Fadl al-Abbas. I have seen the seas gathering water in the mashk in this environment. This is Abu Fadl al-Abbas. Allahumma salli. Ya Allah, by Bab al-Hawaj Abu Fadl al-Abbas, we ask you to bless this holy gathering. Ya Allah, by Bab al-Hawaj Abu Fadl al-Abbas, anyone who has a haja in their heart, whether it is their health, whether it is their wealth, whether it is children, by Bab al-Hawaj, Ya Allah, grant everyone their haja on this night. Ya Allah, the one who helps the Ahlul Bayt, Abu Fadl al-Abbas, Ya Allah, allow him to help us in this night. Those people who have COVID, those people who are suffering from other illnesses and ailments, Ya Allah, the same way that you cured thousands through Abu Fadl al-Abbas. Oh Allah, we ask you by the wasta and the wasila of Abu Fadl al-Abbas, grant all those who are suffering shifa in this night. Ya Allah, anyone who is having a financial difficulty, by Bab al-Hawaj Abu Fadl al-Abbas, Ya Allah, deliver them from their financial difficulty. Ya Allah, anyone who has children or is in wanting of children, Ya Allah, by the grace of Abu Fadl al-Abbas, grant them children in this night. Thousands of narrations I know. I've seen people, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, they weren't having children. One trip to Karbala, one trip to the Darbar of Abu Fadl al-Abbas, they came back with children. The mind is perplexed. Ya Allah, grant anyone their hajat in this night through Abu Fadl al-Abbas. Ya Allah, hasten the reappearance of Imam Sahib al-Rasul al-Zaman and allow us to be amongst his companions when he returns. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما Respected Sayyid, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I begin by extending a most heartfelt congratulations on this most joyous occasion. I wish to share two short couplets in honor of the Master of Loyalty, Abu Fadl al-Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen, followed by a short manqabat, inshallah, with your permission. Before that, I ask you to fill this gathering with Allah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. खजाने की जो ज़ीनत हो उसे अल्मास कहते हैं खजाने की जो زینت ہو اسے الماس کہتے ہیں، تمنا پانی کی ہوتی ہے جب تو پیاس کہتے ہیں، جہاں پیتے ہیں سب پانی اسے کہتے ہیں سب دریا، جہاں پیتے ہیں سب پانی اسے کہتے ہیں سب دریا، جو دریا کو پلاتا ہو اسے عباس کہتے ہیں، یا علی، جو دریا کو پلاتا ہو اسے عباس کہتے ہیں۔ صلی اللہ علیہ محمد وآل محمد۔ یہ شعبان کا چاند وہ ہے کہ جس میں، یہ شعبان کا چاند وہ ہے کہ جس میں کئی چاند آئے نظر دھیرے دھیرے، یہ شعبان کا چاند وہ ہے کہ جس میں کئی چاند آئے نظر دھیرے دھیرے، یہ آل محمد، یہ آل محمد ازل سے ہے عرشی، اترتے رہے فرش پر دھیرے دھیرے، یہ شعبان کا چاند۔
ہم مدح علی میں دار پہ بھی لفظوں کو روانی دیتے ہیں. ہم مدح علی میں دار پہ بھی لفظوں کو روانی دیتے ہیں. کٹتی ہے زباں کٹ پیغام زبانی دیتے ہیں. عباس کی تربت کے ہی قریب پانی نے ٹھہر کر بتلایا. عباس کی تربت کے ہی قریب پانی نے ٹھہر کر بتلایا. ہم بہتے ہیں پاس ہمیں جب اذن روانی دیتے ہیں. ہم مدح علی میں عباس نے پانی دریا کو چلو سے پلا کر بتلایا. عباس نے پانی دریا کو چلو سے پلا کر بتلایا. مٹھی میں کوثر ہم خود ہی دریاؤں کو پانی دیتے ہیں. مٹھی میں کوثر ہم خود ہی دریاؤں کو پانی دیتے ہیں. حیدر نے دعا ہے جب مانگی قدرت نے کہا اے میرے علی. حیدر نے دعا ہے جب مانگی قدرت نے کہا اے میرے علی. عباس کی صورت میں تم کو ہم تیرا ہی ثانی دیتے ہیں. ہم مدح علی میں دار پہ بھی بر محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ. منتخب اشعار صرف چند اشعار مولا عباس کے حوالے میں سوا جب کوئی دعا اور نادوا کام کرے گی. جب کوئی دعا اور نادوا کام کرے گی. عباس کے پرچم کی ہوا کام کرے گی. جب کوئی دوا اور نہ دوا کام کرے گی. اکثر یہ علی کہتے تھے غازی کو اٹھا کر اکثر یہ علی کہتے تھے، غازی کو اٹھا کر زہرا کی دعا سب سے جدا کام کرے گی، جب کوئی دعا اور نہ دوا کام کرے گی۔ اب چاند کا کیا کام رہا گھر میں علی کے، اب چاند کا کیا کام رہا گھر میں علی کے، ماہ بنی ہاشم کی ضیا کام کرے گی، جب کوئی دعا اور نہ دوا کام کرے گی۔ خود دیں گے شہنشاہ وفا اس کو سلامی، خود دیں گے شہنشاہ وفا اس کو سلامی، کچھ اس طرح فضا کی وفا کام کرے گی، جب کوئی دعا اور نہ دوا کام کرے گی۔ یہ حاضری حضرت عباس ہے سجاد، یہ حاضری حضرت عباس ہے سجاد، قسمت سے زیادہ یہ غذا کام کرے گی، جب کوئی دعا اور نہ دوا کام کرے گی۔ بر محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم۔
Let us all recite together. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Ilahi babima redashte bala, jo bimar ho jald pawe shafa. Ilahi baraye امام زمان ہمیں حول میں شر سے دے تو امان، قیامت سے مشہور ہو بالی، اٹھے قبر سے کہ ہم یا علی، اے 5 مل جہاں داتن احمد والی، زہرا حسن، شبیر سے لے امام زمان، شبیر سے لے امام زمان، एक एक पे सदा सलवात पढ़ो सलवात सलवात ओ सलाम या इमाम ज़मान फरमाओ ज़ुहूर या इमाम ज़मान सलवात
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة النساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين، خصوصا سيدي ومولاي أبي الفضل العباس بن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا تسة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلام عليك يا معين الضعفاء والفقراء، السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس ونيس النفوس، أيها المدفون بأرض الطوس الراضي بالقدر والقضاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان، عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها تويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صل على محمد وآل محمد.